observational physical object going physically over a horizon, physically over the earth. My vantage point of the earth.
Over.
That is not reification. That is direct observation.
Disappearing into the
horizon.
It's
not disappearing. There's no disappearing. There is going over and then under. Some
binoculars and you can bring it right back.
No, you can't. I've tried. When I use something with a high enough of a magnification, it is not visible coming back because the bottom is being cut off by the top as if it's going over something, not disappearing in the distance.
In your model, you're supposed to have a geometric sphere.
Not talking about a model.
No, that's reification. Geometric coordinates.
Models are reification.
It's not there.
Reification fallacy. You've reified. You're out. So we're going back to direct observation.
Know what reification is.
Reification has to do with you taking an abstract concept and trying to apply it into the real world as if it has a physical property or something to that effect. That's not the case here. So now we go back to Chemo's original point.
You don't even know your concepts.
Excuse me. We go back to Chemo's original point is that you have to have, it must be, it has to be. And all I'm asking is, why must it be that way? And you said because it's a natural world.
When you guys are done, let me know. I got breaking news on.
Let's get it, Jeremy. What you got?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You ready for this shit, Coach? I hope you fucking studied up.
Man.
Turn your mic up, Jeremy.
We've all been waiting for you.
Jeremy, turn your mic up. Your mic's really low.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
All the low mics today.
He's got some gravity news for your asses.
Is it for our asses?
Yeah, but before he comes on with the boat thing, let me just say one thing. The boat thing
good now?
Can I? Absolutely, right now.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Good.
I'll go for it, Jeremy. Go for it.
I bet. I didn't want to cut you off mid-sentence. Go ahead, I see.
No, it's not important. Go, bro. Yours is more important. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna just state a fact right here, and we'll see who agrees with me. Some people might not agree with this. I don't know why, but the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. Right? We all agree with. I'm sure we'd all agree with that, right? Does anyone disagree with that?
We all agree. Go ahead.
You do?
Go ahead.
No, just FD agrees with you. But
I agree.
Just get the conversation going, guys.
Are you saying, Kosho, there's selective laws throughout the universe?
I'm waiting for him to finish.
That's one of my main premises. Is if you agree with that, I'm not really counting FD for this. He'd be in the list of.
Why? Why?
Oh, he is on the list. That's right.
He won last time. Go ahead.
Hey, he won. So do you agree with that though, or no? I want to get some Glover's consensus on this.
Yeah, we're gonna be spending an hour talking about this. Go ahead.
They won't answer because they're afraid of your next statement.
They're scared because they know. I warned them all.
No, scared. Move on.
Do you agree, Chike?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, right? All right. I have another statement. We can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity. There is a place in the universe where we can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity.
Go ahead, show us.
Okay, would you agree with that or no?
But you gotta give us.
We would like to learn.
There's some spot in the universe where Newton's law of gravity. We can absolutely rule it out.
Is it a black hole? Is it a black hole, Jeremy?
Ding, 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 ding.
I know, like, come on, bro.
Well,
show me a black hole.
This is a statement. What, you don't think black holes exist? That's your big.
It's guesswork and leaps of logic.
Okay, well,
Jeremy, if I did what you're doing right now, I would have probably gotten silence.
Yeah, the difference is people actually like me though. So
I don't care.
We've got the laws of physics, including gravity, should be applicable everywhere in the universe.
Gravity's not a law.
Gravity's not Newton's law of gravity. You never heard of it?
For you guys both from Earth.
Newton didn't subscribe to gravity himself.
Well, I know, but
not to mention the whole thing was superseded by Einstein.
He had a lifetime subscription to it.
Absolute horseshit.
He had a lifetime subscription to gravity. So
So we know that.
I say they
I'm
were
a little confused. He never wanted anything ascribed.
No. He didn't want. No, that's not the quote. You misquote him when you say that. He said,
Jeremy,
don't ascribe innate gravity to me.
I'll quote him.
Yes.
They're both quacks and insane. Throw their
So
shit out the
Jeremy, you're so
window.
likable. I guess you'll take another 5 minutes to make your point, right?
I'll take 10 if I.
Thanks, Kosha.
So the point is,
settle, so he can get his point.
the point is, if we've got a place
Just making you quote your own current science, which is pseudo-Riemannian space-time, Einsteinian reality. That's
Exactly.
gravity.
Is that part of your point,
a force
Jeremy?
that's not a force that causes a force, but it's not a force.
my point is that if all the laws of physics have to
They
work
have to be
everywhere.
obeyed throughout the universe.
Yeah, all the laws of physics should be valid everywhere. And we have a spot in the universe where the law of gravity is not valid. What do you think, Kosho?
I think that the same thing that we've been telling you for 24 hours is still valid, and that's
that Newton's law of gravity
is legit where it's appropriate.
What?
It's legit where it's appropriate. Where more special cases are needed to be explained, like black holes. Definitely Newton's.
But it's not an accurate
gravity
description
doesn't
of
work
reality.
in Einstein's gravity.
Porcho, I have a question for you. Is your opinion more valid than a Nobel Prize winner? Whose opinion is more valid, yours or a Nobel Prize winner?
Mine.
So you guys don't agree that the laws of
Oh,
physics
opinions are valid now.
Well, first off,
we want evidences. Come on.
I'd like to know what law says that all effects have to happen at every scale.
Oh, you want to know what more? Hold on, you want to know what moron thinks that all the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere?
Einstein.
I mean, is there a law that says that there can't be different realms? Hell, even at different dimensions.
Well, the idiot is Andrea Ghez, the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize winner for physics.
It's not a peace prize for physics, Jeremy.
Or Nobel Physics. My bad. I said it wrong. Nobel Physics Prize winner.
We got a Nobel in the house.
2020, bro. Up to date. She's sharp. That's what idiot said it, Moyak.
So what? I didn't say who's an idiot.
Kosho, put him on the list.
This is from an organization that gave
Put him on the
Barack
list.
Obama the peace.
Barack Obama got one. Al Gore got one.
What did I tell you, Jeremy? Did I tell you they were going to throw her under the bus?
What?
Nobody
What
threw
did
it
it
under the bus,
Did I
man.
You
tell you,
didn't show anything.
Who is she and what did she prove anyway?
Okay, Andrea Ghez.
Won the Nobel Prize in Physics for something to do with a black hole.
Did you speak to her and actually ask her your questions?
For what? What did she do?
She won the
I
Nobel
think
Prize.
they took a picture of the.
Post the quote,
for
Jeremy.
what?
Post
For
the
what?
quote.
For doing what?
Oh, I mean,
Post it, bro.
Just sum it up. What did she do?
Took the picture of the black hole that everybody saw.
Oh shit! I don't like her no
Picture of a
more.
black hole.
No, she wasn't the one who did the picture of the black hole. She was the one who was studying supermassive black hole physics.
Okay, there you go.
So the laws of physics.
Leaps of logic and guesswork. Yeah,
Moyak,
great.
you should
Read it
stop
and
'cause
weep.
this just got Moyak, you should stop because this just got you put on a list. The laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. That's
Okay,
Andrea
and?
Ghez.
And
Actually, no. There's a lot of discussion going on in physics at the moment whether the laws of physics are universal. And Sean Carroll is one of the people. I just posted an article on it. This is a discussion that's been going on for the last 15, 20 years. So I don't know why you think this is a new thing.
Well, for the last
Hey,
couple
Jeremy,
of years, you
you
guys
gotta
can't even
quote-
figure out where
Jeremy,
gravity comes
that's
from.
what I
So
just
what
said.
are you talking about?
Are the laws of physics universal? I don't know.
What's the point, though, Jeremy?
You
Is
know?
it to do with black holes?
Jeremy,
Well, that's only one of the spots that Newton breaks down at. There's other places,
You're
like
right.
all around you constantly.
Mercury.
In the quanta.
Yeah, Mercury and what's some other things? Lots of shit. Dark matter.
Large scale, small scale.
Yeah,
Not
so if
wanting
we have-
to dominate
if we have-
the discussion, but the question I have for Jeremy is, so what?
So all the laws of.
No.
Well, I'd like to see this Sean Carroll thing that you got because he's a prominent
I posted it
person
already.
in the.
But ultimately,
In
what you're
physics,
saying,
they are
Jeremy,
looking for universal laws, but they don't have a universal laws right now. So they have quantum mechanics and quantum field theory, and they have general relativity, but they have to use certain things in certain where it's appropriate. They don't have something that fits one size fits all.
Yeah, but Kosho, you got a Nobel Prize winner stating that Einstein's theory of gravity is wrong and it needs to be replaced.
Newton.
He didn't state that whatsoever.
Newton's wrong.
Yeah.
Where did he say it's wrong?
Read the article. Read the article.
Can you quote what the guy said?
It's no big hot news that we don't have a unifying theory of gravity. So what?
No, it's that.
What
you're
saying is that, again, as usual, because we don't understand all of reality completely, we don't understand any of reality at all. And that's
I'm just telling you that.
Jem.
I'm just telling you that Newton's law of gravity it doesn't work. We need to get rid of it.
Jeremy, you just said what Jim said. You just said it doesn't work anywhere, so it doesn't work, and that he just said that.
Because I got Andrea Geddes saying that all the laws of physics, including gravity, should work everywhere.
Jeremy,
that's why we're striving for a unifying theory of gravity. That's something that people are trying to get to a full understanding of. But the fact that we haven't yet doesn't make what we understand so far invalid in any way. It's just part of the process that we have to go through to get to that full understanding.
Jeremy, where the laws don't work, that's when you have certain thresholds being exceeded, quantities of matter or certain types of events, phenomenon occurring. So there's something preceding your concept of when gravity doesn't work. It's not something that you can apply retroactively to explain the shape of the Earth or why things happen.
I was talking about the shape of the Earth here.
Yeah, but that's where it leads to.
And break everything that has come before.
No. Okay,
Jeremy,
this is a direct quote. Hold on.
I mean, not everything will be thrown out, but of course there'll be a remodeling.
So you guys don't agree with Andrea Geddes, the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize winner, that
Does she say there's
all
not
the
a downward
laws of physics. Come on, guys, let me get a word in at some point. Go ahead, Moyak. Go ahead, Moyak.
Does Andrea say that there's not a downward force? Not a downward force, a downward acceleration?
She says the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. What would you think if we had a law? Hold on. What would you think if we had a law that wasn't valid somewhere?
I think it's Jeremy. I'm going to say this for the last time, for the very last time, but you really have to digest it this time, right? Newton's theory of gravity, the law that he made, that's theory, the law that he made 300 years ago, 350 years ago, however long.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Yes.
Listen to me, because I don't want to have to stop people from interrupting me. I just want to say this one last time, but digest it. Okay. This idea that Newton had was very sound, and it answered a lot of questions that weren't answered at the time, and it's appropriate in simple circumstances, the kind of circumstances that we mostly the kinds that we experience on an everyday basis. It's appropriate in these areas. Now, it's not the full answer, and that wasn't found out until Einstein, and he came up with a more robust idea of what gravity is. He actually explained how it comes about and all this other kind of bullshit.
Which is also wrong.
Hold on, Essie. And explains how it works in the places where Newton's gravity wasn't working. So I don't think you should use the word wrong or something like that, but it's true that it wasn't complete. Newton's idea of gravity was not complete. It's not appropriate in every place. Einstein's theory, fulfills almost all places where gravity should be appropriate. And so, I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know how.
Almost ain't good enough. That's your problem.
Okay, that was a cool monologue. But if we have a law that doesn't work somewhere in the universe, and all laws should work everywhere in the universe, what do you think we should do with the law? Keep it or scrap it?
1 second. Here's a direct quote from Andrea Geddes. I just want to get this point in very quickly. Here's a direct quote from Andrea Geddes on this particular topic. Einstein is right, at least for now, says Geddes, co-lead author of the research. We can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity. Our observations are consistent with Einstein's general theory of relativity. However, his theory is definitely showing some vulnerabilities. It cannot fully explain gravity inside a black hole, and at some point we will need to move beyond Einstein's theory. So where is she saying that we've got to throw it out?
We said
You just said the last
out,
sentence.
She
You
said
gotta move beyond.
Man.
You just said it in your last sentence, bro.
It stands for now. We need to do more work on it.
She was talking about
There are
Einstein.
questions to be answered.
She was
That's what
talking
it
about
says.
Einstein. You breezed past the part where she said we can absolutely rule out Newton's law of
No,
gravity.
I read that.
Jeremy's whole argument.
That's my whole argument.
But eventually,
Bye-bye, Newton.
we'll have to be
That's what he's
moved
telling
on.
you.
We'll have to move
Goodbye,
on.
Newton.
So do you think on Earth that makes Newton's laws of motion and gravity not work?
We don't think so.
Just
She does.
talking about the
A
law of
prominent.
gravity.
No. She
prominent
doesn't think that
astrophysicist.
either.
She does think that because you know what, Josh? She thinks that all the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe.
First off, she could.
So she does. She does think that.
Oh, Jeremy.
Whatever. You're going against the 2020 Nobel.
No, I'm not. I'm agreeing with her.
Listen, Jeremy. Just like I just told you. Think about Newton's law of gravity as not what gravity is. It's like a simplified. It's kind of like what's the equation for 8 inches per mile squared. That's not the real equation for the curvature of the Earth, but it's one that people use because it's easy to use and it works in small distances or whatever. But it's not the accurate description for describing a globe.
Both are fantasy.
Do you see here that equation? It's wrong to say that equation is wrong, but it's also not correct to say that that's an accurate depiction of the Earth.
That's not a law. That's also not a law, though. So I don't know.
So, would it be fair to say that the Newton law is simply not as precise and accurate as Einstein?
It's not valid.
Jeremy,
It would
the
be
point
fair
is
to say
it's not the law. It's not the thing that's describing gravity.
it would be
It's a
fair to say
simplified
that
version of it.
Newton-
that
It's
works.
not the accurate
Newton
cause
does
of
it
the
in inches
effect.
per mile.
Jeremy, I have a question, Jeremy. When you say Newton's law is not valid, would you claim that when you accelerate something, you don't need a force? When you push something when you push something across your table,
Andrea, I heard your question the first time. I heard it the first time. We don't need to go repeat it again. It's not even relevant. But it's not me. Andrea Ghez is saying the one that Newton's law of gravity isn't valid. Not
They're
me.
throwing her under the bus, Jeremy, like I told you yesterday.
I say you don't need a force. Who was the funny speaking person that just asked that question?
Is that exactly what we're
Listen,
saying?
Jeremy, you're
Is
just
that
saying that because we
I'm telling you,
Mr. Logo was in the middle of a sentence.
if I sit you on a table, Mr. Logo, if I sit you on a table, Mr. Logo, and I pull the table out from underneath you, what force was added?
Oh, we got the table.
Quick, answer the question, Mr. Logo.
The force is still
When
being,
I'm sitting on a
never stopped
table
acting on you.
and you push
And I
me on
pull
the
the table out from underneath. No, I didn't push nothing. I pulled the table out from underneath you. What force was added?
Why must we all talk at the same time, guys? Why?
Right. Just wait a second, Mr. Logo.
Because
Mr. Logo.
Dimok needs to
Mr. Logo.
repeat his
What
question
force
at
was
least
added?
10
Go.
times. Let him answer.
Doc never stops talking, that's why.
He's not talking right now, man.
And he's never going to be
I've
moderated.
never heard Mr. Logo even answer. I heard 4 other people.
More than anybody else in the server.
Yeah.
Okay. All that has to happen is he's waiting for him to answer. You don't have to say anything.
So Andrew Ghez, the well-known Nobel-winning astrophysicist, Jeremy, do you disagree with her then?
Exactly what she said. What you stated that she said was his exact argument.
Yeah.
Andrea Ghez, I'm going to give you
disagree with Andrea Ghez?
I'm going to give you 2 points that I agree on Andrea Ghez with, right? One of them is that all the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. That's a correct statement of fact. The second thing I agree with is that you can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity.
What about the
He
third
doesn't say
thing
that
where
you can rule it out.
sphere?
What'd you say? Not you,
What about
Al.
the third thing?
Not you.
Is the Earth a sphere?
He just said those two.
Believe that?
Well, if you agree
Just
with her
those 2 things,
findings-
obviously. I know you guys were going to take it to some stupid realm, but
No. The reason I asked those questions is I wanted to just make sure you agreed with her findings, that you are happy with her findings.
just those 2 things.
One of the main methods she used is spectroscopy,
I know.
which gives us the composition of the stars and the movement of the stars. And it's her development in this area that has allowed these really accurate measurements to be gathered. So that means that if you agree that she's correct, you have to agree with
only
her
on
method.
those two statements.
Yeah,
See, what they're doing now, Jeremy, is they're going to pigeonhole you to believe in her favorite color, what car she drives,
No, I'm not
her
asking that
favorite
at all,
baseball
Montreal,
team.
and
You're
you're
not going to address
tormenting
the
me.
issue.
And I would like to just very quickly finish my point. No, what I'm saying is the method she used to reach this conclusion. Do you agree with her methodology?
I personally don't. Stellar spectroscopy is ridiculous. Nope. It's not. It can't possibly give you any meaningful information.
Yeah, I only agree with those two statements you made. I don't care about anything else.
If you don't agree with your favorite color, that's it.
Jeremy, if you don't agree valid, then the methodology she used to reach that conclusion needs to be valid. Yes.
Jeremy, if you cite someone, okay, if you cite someone as being
not
correct,
true what you're about to say, but
right, I'm saying the same thing he said, just differently, more on your level.
Say it. Don't say it though. He said it as clearly as
So
he could.
why you gotta manage me?
With those two things.
You're always managing me.
How come I keep getting cut off?
Because you make it worse, FD.
Because you bring nothing to the table, Lael. That's why.
Jeremy, you got to accept her premises. It doesn't make sense for you to take her
Listen to y'all's controllers. And so is, hey, Jeremy, I just want to know this. Her fundamental belief that the Earth is a sphere, how could she come up with these other ideas?
I don't care about her other beliefs.
But why do you agree with her then?
She disagrees with you.
Jeremy, why do you agree with her if you don't agree with her methods to get to the same conclusion?
Notice they're not addressing the issue, Jeremy. Exactly what I told you they were going to do yesterday, bro.
Let's say there's a killer in jail and he writes a journal every day. And in some of the pages, he says exactly every detail on how he killed all the people. But then on the last page, he puts, but I didn't kill anyone. But all the details of him killing the people were things no one knew that were true. You know, which one do we just have to take the whole thing into account? Even the part where he said, I never killed anyone?
You're the person saying that he didn't kill anyone.
Saying.
No, you're the person saying he didn't kill anyone, though. You're literally the analogy was you're the person saying he didn't kill anyone.
He has explained as he could. The only parts he agrees with her. He doesn't agree with anything else that she says.
This is about gravity, not killing, not flowers, not sowing. This is about gravity and not working in and around the black hole.
The Earth is a sphere, and she builds off that belief and has multiple other beliefs above that, like gravity and everything else. So how can you dismiss the fact that this?
So which one is she wrong about, Leo?
But accept gravity and everything.
Okay, explain us, Lil. Where was she wrong?
Yeah.
I can tell you where.
Not you, Lale, please.
Yeah, well.
I just want to prove that he has nothing. He just talks. Go ahead, Lale.
I didn't say she had anything else wrong. I said if she built off the belief that the Earth is a sphere and has gravity and those other two.
Nobody said that, Lale, except you. Nobody has talked about that.
Something, and then Jeremy reject one of her fundamental beliefs. It doesn't make any sense.
She never mentioned the sphere. She's talking about black holes and where she won an award in.
Perfect. But if she built off the basic belief that the Earth is a sphere, how can you reject that basic belief and believe those other things?
What the hell are you doing? Once again, you're not even going close to the subject matter. What we're talking about. You could believe in kangaroos. What does that have to do with kangaroos?
I am hitting right at the root of the matter. Her basic building block is that the Earth is a sphere, and she builds off of that and finds stuff out in space and gravity and all that other stuff that she believes. But her fundamental belief starting point is that the Earth is a sphere.
You could be a Christian. Why don't you start from there? Maybe she believes that.
Right.
Came up with that, Lale.
Hey guys,
what the hell are you talking about?
Chris, you just have to accept that he doesn't agree with anything else that she says. There's no point in
how can he agree then?
No, this is what you guys think. You think because I go into a pastry shop and I want to buy a chocolate cake, that means I have to buy all the other chocolate
No, that's about preference. That's about preference, not about
from her to make his point. He doesn't have to believe in everything else she believes in.
But he's taking a superficial approach.
It's not superficial.
That is the definition of superficial.
Nobel.
What is it with people saying stuff that's opposite of true and then insisting? What is it with some of the people in here doing that? You say something that's the opposite of what it is and you insist. superficial means that you look at something like the top layer. The top layer of her argument is about this nonsense that you guys are arguing. The only thing that we're accepting is the nonsense, is the top layer.
She made a complete and full statement of why she believes that Newtonian gravity breaks down.
Based on what? Based on what?
So what the statement is full?
We've been reading it all morning.
Based on observations that assume certain distance to a black hole and its mass and the orbit that the stars make. You must accept all that.
And she wouldn't even have gone there if she didn't believe the Earth was a sphere.
There comes Lael again.
Who is laughing? I mean, that is. I'm not always agreeing with Lael, but he's 100% correct. There's got to be a foundation for what she's saying, and you guys are ignoring it, and then it's just ridiculous.
Let's assume there's a foundation of what she says.
Unless you agree with everything that she believes.
Get anywhere doing that. He's not gonna. He doesn't agree with anything else she says. There's no point in trying to convince him that he's going to.
It's superficial.
He doesn't agree with anything.
Really ridiculous.
So Jeremy,
I agree, Coach.
He doesn't have to believe everything that she believes.
This is Drutz's fault.
Quote something that she says.
This is all
right, but he's quoting her in a superficial way, and if we can acknowledge the superficiality of it, then we can move on to something else.
Okay, let me give you an example. If the Pope comes out and says a statement like this, for example, he says, "I believe we should be good to each other. We should not harm anybody, not even animals. We should live in a respectful manner." And I say, "Okay, Pope, I agree with you on that." And then he comes and he says on the next sentence, "I am the vicar of Christ. I am God's right-hand man." I'm going to disagree with the second statement and fully agree with the first one.
May I point out where that's an incomplete point very quickly? So if the Pope turned around and said, I think that, we should all be nice to each other, because that is the commandment of God, and you're not a Catholic, would you agree with his full premise? That you have to be nice to someone because I am the Pope and the representative of God and I'm telling you what to do?
Obviously not, Dress.
They've done that
the point
before.
that I'm making.
But they've done that before.
If you're going to use the data, then you have to accept some of the methodology that goes behind it. Otherwise, the data is invalid. The point you're making is invalid. You're not saying that, okay, yeah, this is a valid point, that this is now no longer a good reason. If you're not going to accept the data and the methodology used to reach the conclusion, that's the point I'm making. Not that you have to like every color she likes, but she's making that pronouncement based on a body of evidence, and you take that announcement. You need to accept the body of evidence.
Hold on, let me address this.
Let's talk about how she
almost
came
a valid
to the
point.
conclusion that she did.
The thing is, this is a hostile witness. This is the people you believe that the method works. Therefore, you need to believe this. I don't believe anything.
Hostile witness. Well said.
I don't believe anything this bitch says.
Still don't know what a hostile witness is.
It's Andrea Ghez is a hostile witness right now.
A while ago, man, this would have been over.
This is
Andrea
amazing.
Ghez is a hostile witness. I don't believe what she says, but I got her on the stand and I got her talking, and now here's what she's saying.
You're deluded.
She says the Earth is a sphere, so why do you not believe that?
Chris.
So when we get the serial killer on the stand, I say they didn't kill anybody.
Just ignore the fact that she believes the Earth is a sphere.
Okay, everyone, just so everyone knows, she believes there's a sphere, and I don't agree with it. Okay, we all clear now?
Okay, and we all can also agree that what you're saying is superficially coincidental, and it doesn't matter. I mean, let's just cut to the chase.
You don't think Newton's law of gravity not being valid is inconsequential? Then that's
no. You agree with her for a superficial reason. There's no relationship.
You agree with her.
You understand that Jeremy
I agree with her in all her premises.
He doesn't believe in anybody's gravity.
Do you guys disagree with her? First of all, let's establish this. Do you guys disagree with her?
Is there anything she said that you guys disagree with? And I guess it said Newton's law of gravity is not valid.
The phrasing that she used, I do disagree with it.
Which part?
What did she say about charcuterie?
Be specific, Kosho. Which part?
I don't remember what her words were. I don't remember. Jeremy can maybe read them back, or Dress can read them back. But I remember hearing it and not agreeing with it.
No, don't.
Okay, so Kosho, I'm trying to get this little point.
Don't bring back up the whole thing with him.
Okay, then let me speak freely. Okay, so the idea of a flat earther coming in here and trying to relate a point that has nothing to do with their point is a waste of time. Okay?
You guys just did for the past 15 minutes was a waste of time. He said,
man, what you guys did for the past 3 years is a waste of time then.
He said,
What is the claim about
You guys act
gravity
like
here?
you're doing something so consequential. We're just having a conversation, man.
What is the actual claim about gravity here?
Jeremy's, go ahead, Jeremy.
Andrea Ghez is claiming that there's a spot in the universe where we can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity. Right? Does anyone disagree with that?
Can you tell me why it should be ruled out?
I'm telling you. Do you agree with the statement? We can absolutely rule out Newton's
We
law
don't
of
know
gravity?
yet. We need more information.
You know yet because we've been through this, but just go ahead and get to your thing.
But do you disagree with any part of that?
Sure, I'll
don't know.
disagree with it. That's what we're talking about. Why? Now, Jeremy, why should it be ruled out?
I'm getting there. It's we got to work up to the climax.
Okay, get there.
This is a climatic situation. So, Kosho, you agree with that statement? We can absolutely
did this part already. We did all this.
Okay.
Curve
The next part. The next part is the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe, said Ghez.
How do we know they're not?
Because of the first. That's why I wanted to make sure everyone agreed on the first part.
Get a point here, Jeremy. Answer a fucking question, goddammit. How do we know
How
they're
do we
not?
know they're not? Ghez told us. This is the Nobel Physics Prize winner of 2020.
Okay, that's your answer. Gez told us.
The Nobel Physics Prize winner of 2020. Yes.
In what way do they
This
break
bitch
down,
is a
Jeremy?
genius for you guys. She's
In
one of
what
your
way
high-
do they? In what way are they invalid, Jeremy? Tell me.
In what way or what invalid? Gravity?
Yeah. Tell me how it's invalid. Tell me how you know, and how you know that gravity doesn't work the same basically everywhere, but it's not that the results of things aren't going to be different based upon other influences in other regions of the universe where these forces aren't present the way that they are in our experience.
You're asking someone who
Basically what we all said about half hour ago.
Please, for the love of God.
800,
He
please.
doesn't believe in gravity.
Shut the fuck up, Rakia.
Because
He doesn't believe in gravity, Curve. Why are you asking him?
Here's another quote from Gez, the first one I read. We can absolutely
Don't want
rule out
Gez,
the law of gravity.
Jeremy. Answer.
No, this is your
answer my question, Jeremy. Quit riding on.
I know
Gez.
because Gez told me. I know because Gez told me. That's how I know.
Right, Jeremy doesn't live in Narnia Globeville,
You're
Curb.
disingenuous.
It ain't no fun when the flat earthers got the gun.
He's trying to ask him a question. He's trying to get him to answer a question. Don't.
He answered your question 2 times, dude.
Yeah, I know because Gez told me. This is your subject matter expert.
why-
This is the best subject matter expert you've ever had.
Okay,
right
so
here.
but why do you do that? You cite us for doing that. You say, hey, we shouldn't just believe something because someone else told us.
So you
And you're
disagree
doing
with
it.
this person?
Jeremy
Yeah,
doesn't
answer my
believe
question
her.
first.
No, that has to do with your belief science. Right.
Who else
Now,
do I
why
have
do
to
you
bring
do-
down to 2%?
Why do you guys even let this kid talk?
Yeah, that would be.
Clearly he's slow.
There we go. Let me put him down to 2%. too.
Clearly, you need to prove your hypothesis.
So, yeah, Jeremy. So give us that. Why do you accept that?
Give us that, Jeremy. Why?
Sorry, what was your question?
This guy just turn him down. Why do you accept it if you don't let us accept what someone else tells us? Why do you accept what someone else tells you? Or why do you push that as a way to make a valid argument?
Do you have a problem with the subject matter expert saying?
No, I'm asking why do you accept what they say without?
You guys don't get
questioning
this at all.
I get it, Kosho. I get it. But
Agree with her. He's using it as an argument against what
Kosho, I know that. Kosho,
gravity.
Kosho, what is it with people? Whenever I talk, everyone's got a comment on me talking. Every single time.
You're very bad at this.
Jesus Christ, no, I'm not.
Yes.
All of us have our own way of talking. There is nothing particular about me, and it is obnoxious at this point that you have this fixation. You and the other two. It's endless. Let it go. Let the flat and destruction routine go. It's over with. That ended weeks ago.
Well, stop the destruction.
And destruction is want to say something. I've got a comment on why he's talking.
The flattened destruction routine, then.
So Jeremy, why do you assert that? Why do you assert that relying on someone's argument, superficially, mind you, is sufficient for you to make a valid point?
Jeremy, why?
because I feel like this woman is at the top of her field. She won the Nobel Prize in physics. She's at the top of her field. She probably knows what she's talking about a little more than me when it comes to physics. I'm guessing a little more than all of us.
Right.
And it's unreal you guys are disagreeing with her.
No, wait. So if you respect her on that level that you just described, do you respect the premises that gave her that conclusion that you stated?
Nope.
Why not? She's at the top of her game and all this other stuff, like you said.
Well, we can talk about that later, but
no, we need to talk about that now. That's the crux of the matter. That's what I was trying to get at.
That's not the crux of the matter. The crux.
Yes, it is the crux of the matter. It's how they. No, the crux of the matter is how you guys pick and choose when to make a valid argument.
Gravity, dude.
You guys make a valid argument.
Our favorite colors, dude.
You guys make a valid argument only when convenient, and you make invalid arguments.
No, you have nothing. You're telling me she believes in water polo. Why don't you like her thing about hockey?
Now I get it.
About hockey.
Now I get it. Now I get it.
No, you don't get it.
Yeah, you like to interrupt. All of y'all like to interrupt.
Interrupted him.
There's an argument made.
You interrupted him.
Shut
up.
Interrupts.
As he started talking, you interrupted him. Every time he talked.
Jeremy.
And what about
he
you?
listened to you the whole time. As he started talking and you interrupted. And then you said something about interruption.
What's your point?
Jeremy.
Nut.
Come on, Jeremy. Let's hear it.
The point is, gentlemen, gravity and black
Don't just
hole.
say my name. What?
Right. You accepted her conclusion because of her qualifications. You reject her.
Do you accept
her qualifications?
Hold on.
Why?
Hold on. Do you accept her conclusion?
Answer my question first. No, that's another thing.
I'll answer it.
Do not answer my question with a question.
I'm gonna answer it.
Then you will answer my question before I answer yours.
Shut up, bro. I'm gonna answer your question. Then it's my turn to ask a question after that.
Okay, great.
You agree?
So tell me. So go ahead.
Okay.
I agree with
you. The reason is because I'm a nutcase flat earther. Okay, my turn for a question now. You ready?
Go ahead, ask your question.
All right. Do you agree with her?
Yes, I do.
That's not a satisfactory answer.
So you agree that
I don't have to answer the question.
I'm a
no, that's fine.
Flat earther.
He's punching the ball. He doesn't want to face reality.
I think all kinds of crazy shit. So that's my reason.
Oh, that's it.
So
now I'm holding
you. If you agree with her, then we're fine. You don't believe that Newton's law of gravity is valid. That's fine.
Where does she say, excuse me, if you're going to say something like that, then quote her, post a quote in the chat, and cite it.
Read that part out loud.
I don't care.
Yeah, so everybody else in the room heard.
I posted it in the chat.
So Jeremy, her comment has to do with the fundamentals of the physics, not with determining whether or not the forces of gravity work or don't work.
I'm going to interrupt now to prove something. This guy doesn't know what the argument is. I want you to repeat what the argument is. Go.
Yeah,
Watch this, guys. Watch this.
If we interrupt,
the guy talking now, repeat what the argument is. Go.
I'm interrupting you just like you interrupt.
Shut up, Leo.
Chris.
So Jeremy, you get that, right? Okay, dude, thank you. So Jeremy, so you get that.
Repeat the argument, dude.
Okay, let me put you down to 2% also. Let me put you down to 2% also, because y'all just don't like to have. It's like,
do you know the argument? There's other people in here besides you. So
I know that.
They want to ask you a question.
That's fine.
Just turn them down.
That's what I'm doing. I'm about to turn them down.
But Jeremy,
why doesn't everybody just turn you down when you ask them questions then?
Because I don't take someone else's question and interfere with someone else answering it. How many times do you hear me trying to speak and I cut myself off and say, okay, let me wait. Eventually I got to say something.
Flatten, do you know the argument? Do you know the argument, Flatten?
Let's see if I know the argument. So you're making a point that a certain person is saying, hey, gravity is invalid. And you're saying, I agree with her. And you're wondering, hey, the rest of the globe community.
I told you doesn't know the argument.
Excuse me.
Be specific. What specifically did you say?
Person talk.
Let him.
Tell Montreal. Okay, I gotta reduce you. Okay.
Fuck you
so Jeremy, so the idea is that you're taking a superficial point, which is that she's saying that gravity is invalid, but what you're ignoring is the context of what she's saying, and that's where the discussion is a healthy discussion. What you're doing is ignoring that healthy part, and you're confounding your point with her point. They're two very unrelated points.
And listen, this is the quote. Andrea Ghez. we can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity.
That's
She
part
also
of the
made
quote.
this quote. She
Part
also
of
made this quote. She also made this quote.
Excuse
The laws
me.
of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere. So if we got us in the universe,
Jeremy, you took
spot
part
in the
of her quote.
universe. Okay, so if we got, is there a spot in the universe where Andrea Ghez?
Jeremy, you took part of her quote, so I can't do anything with you, bro.
Stop talking over him, for the love of God.
Okay, do you realize that Andrea Ghez can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity at some spot in the universe? There is a spot in the universe where Andrea Ghez can absolutely rule out Newton's law of gravity. Would you agree with that?
I don't know, and I don't care at this point.
Well, then why are you talking?
Because what I'm trying to get across
why are you talking?
Is that your argument has nothing to do with certain spots. Your argument has to do with ideas. Because there's a certain spot, that means everywhere it's not valid. What kind of logical argument is that? It's actually a logical fallacy.
That's Andrea Gez's argument because
that's your argument, not Andrea Gez's argument. Andrea Gez's argument isn't that the fundamental force exists, or that there isn't a fundamental reason for those forces occurring. Is that there are certain areas in the universe where they do not operate the way that they do in the rest of the universe. There's a reason why. The reason why is the key part, and that's the part that you're sitting up here wasting our time avoiding.
You don't know what he's arguing.
I'm wrong. Coach, I'm wrong again. I'm always wrong. Got you.
You're wrong right now, dude.
I'm wrong right now. Got you.
You're fucking wrong. Yes.
Okay, Coach.
His whole point is that the idea is inconsistent. That's why he's trying to get people to agree.
Coach, how does that differ from what I just said?
I'm talking FD, especially when other people are talking, but probably just in general. Stop talking for a little bit because you don't know what he's arguing. Instead of asking him, you're trying to frame his argument in a way that he's not even framing it.
Jeremy, I'll just send you a private message, okay? This is ridiculous. I'll send you a private message. Just respond to that, okay?
No, I proved that you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you got the whole room just having fun.
Okay, what is the argument then? What is that?
Yeah, let him go. See you later. Private message is good.
No, I'm still in the room. I'm still going to be involved.
Yeah, just mute yourself on this topic because you obviously, everyone's telling you don't know what you're talking about.
Just pretend you don't know nothing and mute yourself. That'll do.
It's not valid still, Jeremy, but...
So, I mean, you guys are basically done. Newton's law of gravity is not valid.
Wow,
okay,
Jeremy.
Okay. Is general relativity valid?
Don't care. We're not talking about
no. We must care. We must have some replacement.
Earlier. It's like there's certain circumstances where this applies and you don't want to address that. And this guy is directly citing an example, and you're like, oh, we don't want to talk about that.
An example of Einsteinian gravity, we're talking about Newton's law of gravity.
I just don't understand.
This is a red herring from the
Jeremy,
Sea of Hell.
I don't understand what your argument here is anyway, because
we
understand there are areas that Newton's laws don't, it's not Newton's laws. Newton's form of gravity doesn't carry weight. We understand that. That's well understood. I don't understand why you're saying that it's not applicable anywhere.
Hey Santano, you know what's so funny? I've been saying the same thing, and they keep telling me that I'm not paying attention.
Said this, man.
Your own community said that Newton was superseded over 100 years ago. So
this is a quote. Hold on.
For the best description of gravity, yes, but we're not talking about the best description of gravity. We're talking about what's useful at local scale versus what's useful at gravitational scale.
The nature of reality,
hold on, guys.
What description is close.
In response to that, this is another quote from Andrea Ghez. Quote, the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. End quote.
Okay,
but they're not.
They're really the end of the quote? Or are you leaving out more important things that you don't want to say?
Can you just post the citation on the chat so we can get a full understanding? Because you're doing like what people who claim to be Bible people do.
I'll tell you what, I'll post the full article for you, Flatten, because I've already got it up.
What does it actually say?
Josh got it.
Just instead of that one-liner.
You guys can read it now, Chris. He's going to post it in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, it's like whenever... Go ahead.
I told you before about the 8 inches per mile squared, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, but that's not a law, though.
Jeremy, I know.
Not analogous.
No, Jeremy, here's the idea. Jeremy, this is the point that you missed what I said earlier. Newton's law, when he first came up with it, it was the law. Okay? It's still called Newton's law. but it's not the law of gravitation. It's not the thing that's describing what gravity does. It's not the description of gravity. It's the short. It's a shorthand now at this point. That's what it's used for. It's accurate in the realms that we use it, but it's not accurate everywhere. So it's not. It's kind of a misnomer to call it the law of gravitation.
Newton's law of gravity. That's a real thing.
It is valid when where used, and it's known. It's known when it's not valid.
So the part you're disagreeing with Andrea on this is when she says that the laws of physics, including gravity, should be valid everywhere in the universe. That's the part you disagree with, Andrea?
No. Again, that's why I'm using the 8 inches per mile squared, because
that's not analogous.
Listen,
not at all.
Just listen for a second, Jeremy. Because the curvature of the Earth, if you actually had the actual equation, it would be valid everywhere on the Earth, no matter what scale. But as a shorthand, you can use 8 inches per mile square, and it works pretty close to perfect in close ranges. And it's not saying that it's invalid, but it's not the full description of it. So you're right. It's wrong to call it a law. The law of gravitation is what it's called.
Technically, it was just superseded. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no negative inclination on that. It was just technically, it was superseded.
But they can't let it go, bro. They will not let it go.
Who's fighting tooth and nail to claw to keep
That's the wrong part.
Why are you guys fighting to keep this dusty science, Kosho?
Something else is more accurate. We can't still use this.
So if we got an old car, right, an old Wright brother bicycle plane, we're going to use that today to get 50 passengers instead of a plane? Is that what you're saying, Kosho?
We're going to use a bicycle to do a journey where we don't need to use a car because it's more efficient.
No. We need a plane bicycle.
There are certain circumstances.
We're talking about flying,
when
buddy.
We're dealing with just the local Earth.
I was talking about flying.
Using Newton's laws of gravity and motion are perfectly acceptable and are used every day. So that's the difference. I want to go up to the local shop, which is quarter of a mile away.
Let's go use a TP now.
We're talking about precision and accuracy, and when we find more research that lends us to a higher level of precision and accuracy, we don't pretend that leads us in the opposite direction of what the previous information led us to. Jeremy, we're not talking about
only if it does.
Way. Well, only if it does, but it doesn't. I mean, we're not getting the things falling up just because she comes up with a more accurate understanding. More accurate puts us.
How is the fabric of space-time similar to Newton? What Newton proposed, and Newton didn't officially propose anything. Remember, too.
Newton only described the effect, not the cause, whereas Einstein tried to look at more of what was causing this effect in the bending of space-time.
And they both got it wrong.
And his law derives the same conclusions that you would get from the Newtonian conclusions. The only difference is you don't have to do complex math. The same way as I was telling you.
The only difference is Einstein's wasn't a law.
At this point.
But the results that
wasn't a law. It was
Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
Law, Jeremy.
No, what Kosho said was wrong. Einstein's not a law.
It's a law in the theory.
But why don't we just look at the results for a moment? Jeremy, why?
Which part of Einstein's
No, it's just a theory.
No, it's not just a theory. He has an equation just like Newton has an equation.
And not a scientific one either.
It's not even a theory.
No, not a scientific one.
And it includes a law.
Negative.
Positive. Do you want to see the equation?
Oh, I can show you equations that Godzilla exists. Doesn't make it real.
What's the cause of entropy?
Time.
What's the cause of entropy? Unknown.
Time.
Can anybody explain that?
Time.
What kind of question is that?
But entropy is a law.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just said time and causation.
Right.
Time?
Causality.
Did you say time?
I said time.
The concept of time?
Yeah, that has
no, time.
To do what we're talking about here. I don't know why you randomly brought that up.
No, I know what you guys are doing. You're going to go through every alley, every way to get away from the center point, which is gravity.
You just changed the subject. That was you.
I didn't change it. You went on.
Yeah, you asked about entropy for some reason.
Comparing this
I told
to
you that there's a law inside of the theory of general relativity. There's a law describing.
There is no law. There is no law. It's purely conjecture.
There is a law.
Where do you observe this fabric of space-time? Where do you observe relativity? Where do you observe things shrinking when they go faster? That's ridiculous.
So you can see in the last point then that there is indeed a law in there?
No, there is no law.
There is a
And
law.
the theory of relativity is sheerly fantasy la land.
Montreal, objects do not physically shrink in special relativity theory. It's an issue of simultaneity in how we measure things as a consequence of traveling near the speed of light, but things don't actually physically shrink.
Oh, really, George? Are you denying that the Michelson-Morley experiment, they said that the arm shrank? Are you, was it the Michelson-Morley or the other one? I get them mixed up.
No, it's Michelson-Morley. It's Michelson-Morley and how simultaneity is perceived and objects are measured. I won't go into it with you, but actually the molecules, the atoms themselves do not compress in the direction of motion.
Yes, but in order for them to get around the problem that
yes,
they had,
I understand. The length measurements are contracted, but it's a consequence of how we measure things.
Are you talking about
the actual objects themselves changing size?
Yeah, are you talking about the Lorentz transformation?
You're saying it's a mathematical equation, not an actual contraction? Is that what you're saying?
Are you talking about the Lorentz transformation?
Are we talking about the atoms themselves? Montreal, are you talking about the atoms themselves shrinking? Or are you
I think he's talking about shit under pressure when you spray it and you let it release.
Talking about the Hannah Tucker.
When you release something and it widens from the first point, you shoot it out and it goes and at the very end where it hits it like wider. That's what it sounds like he's talking about.
No. In the Michelson,
I think he's talking about the Lorentz transformation, but he's not answering.
They thought.
This is a common misconception, Montreal, in what is meant by length contraction. Length contraction is misconceived as being an actual compression or shrinkage of physical objects, which do not happen.
Well, let me ask you this. During the Lorentz contraction, if there's a guy trying to put a ladder in a door and the ladder it's too big, but then he starts going fast and it's too small. But then both the people see the guy fit the ladder through the door. Did it really shrink?
That's right.
It's an
issue of how two different reference frames measure simultaneous events.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if the door is too small,
the arm shrank. That's why
the door is too small.
In your reference frame, you think the door is too small.
No, in both reference frames, the doors are too small.
No, it isn't. No, not in both reference frames. If you have a moving reference frame with respect to another one, then
you don't understand the Lorentz contraction.
Guys, listen. There's two of you, and George is trying to respond. So just don't talk over him and don't talk over each other.
My bad.
George, is it true then that the space around an object that approaches the speed of light is itself contracted?
No.
Okay.
No,
how do you explain?
They say that the object, which is reaching the speed of light, listen to this nonsensical bullshit. They say that the object itself expands, if you can believe that. In other words, you're going to blow up like the Michelin Man. That's what their la fantasy says. Correct me if I'm wrong, George.
It's completely conceptual. Again, it's just...
You are wrong.
Fantasy.
George, I actually phrased my question wrong. I should have said, does the space around the object change its geometry when approaching the speed of light?
The object itself, they say, changes.
Not in the frame. Not in the frame of the person that is, or either person. In special relativity, there's symmetry. What's happening to observer A is the same. How observer A, if two observers are moving relative to one another with no acceleration in a straight line, like they're passing one another or something, observer A sees observer B maybe contracting or is time slowing down or whatever, and observer B sees exactly the same thing of observer A.
Got it.
There's
I got
symmetry
that.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
But
so if that's the case, just think about it. If you and I are in rocket ships and we're passing one another near the speed of light, you look at me and you see me contracting, I look at you and see you contracting. We both can't be contracting simultaneously. So it's an issue of measurement. Physically, neither one of us contract. It's just how we measure length as we push the speed of light and how we perceive simultaneous events.
So it's not even the space itself is contracting. You're saying it's really a sense of relative perception.
Can we use the USS Discovery?
Exactly.
Okay, I am having a hard
they
time
describe-
with that. But I appreciate your answer.
George, when they describe the ladder and it's too small, won't fit in the door, get going fast up close to the speed of light, and then it fits through the door. How does that explain what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying it's an issue of how we view simultaneous events. Light takes a finite time to reach your eye. So when, say you have a barn and you see the ladder, you're in this, let's say where you're in the laboratory and I'm moving relative to you at close to the speed of light with my barn and my ladder. Okay. And, or no, you have the barn in your frame and I'm moving near the speed of light with my ladder. Now, the thing is, when you're moving very slow, it looks like the light coming from both ends of the ladder are received by your eye at the same time. You think it's a simultaneous event. Now, when we're going near the speed of light, that becomes a problem. That's no longer the case because the time it takes for light to reach your eye from each end of the ladder is different. So on the first part of the ladder going into the barn occurs at a little different time than when I close or you close the door and the back end of the ladder goes through. It's not a simultaneous event. Our simultaneous events are different in timing in your frame and my frame. And so you think the ladder is not fitting, whereas I don't see the ladder fitting, but you think, but it does for you because of just the way that when the door gets closed, when the front end and the back end arrive, because of the finite time it takes the light to reach your eye, it's not simultaneous in your frame. The light coming from both ends of the ladder.
Okay, George. Okay, George.
Stop it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
question,
please.
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, George, later
please,
after everyone
for the love
speaks,
of God.
I want to follow with you with that. Is that okay?
I was before you, Flatten. Hold on.
I said later after.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, George, in plain English, are you saying yes or no? Did the ladder actually shrink to fit the door which it was previous too big to enter through?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
So how did it fit through?
He just explained to you and you interrupted him.
No, he said a bunch of crap. He said light.
Don't interrupt him again, man. Yeah.
How can a ladder fit inside the door which is bigger than the ladder?
No, it can't. It can't. It can't.
Exactly.
No, it can't. But we're not talking about fitting the door. We're talking about fitting the barn.
No, but that's doesn't.
No, that's two different directions. No, that's two different directions. You can't come to the door and fit in. No, but you can move along the door and then you seem to fit in.
But that's not reality, bro. You're not describing reality.
It is.
That's not reality, man.
No, it's not.
You cut him off before he was finished.
That's completely fantasy, ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's not
fantasy.
ridiculous, dude. It's the consequences of time of light having a finite speed.
You cannot shrink
This is just Star Trek guesswork bullshit.
Yeah, bro.
Fantasy.
It's not. It's a consequence of it's a logical consequence of reality. Once you
You're making up reality.
Finite speed, it's a logical consequence.
Kasho, how can you?
You're making up your own logic and you're making up your own reality.
Yeah, you're not living in reality, Kosho. You're envisioning something that has to actually shrink in reality.
It doesn't have to shrink.
Your model,
but
you're doing it mathematically. How does that make sense to you, Coach?
How do you not? It's like you weren't listening, and that's your own fault, man. But it really was. He actually explained it in a pretty simple way.
No, he said a bunch of googly gawk.
Talk about how the light has a finite speed, and this consequence is going to have an effect on how you perceive two ends of a ladder.
Yeah, perceive, Coach.
And that's moving at the speed of light.
Kosha, we're not talking about perceiving. We're talking about actual.
Yeah, but this is what causes it. The ladder's not shrinking. It's your perception that
so
is.
So how is it fitting? If it's bigger than the doorway, how is it fitting?
It's just how you're perceiving it.
No,
hey, George, that's actually what I wanted to ask moving forward, which is that there's the light perception. I think it's called the light delay, which is caused by relativistic events. But then there's also the length contraction. And I believe it was rocket scientist about a month ago. He was trying to explain to me that that's actually just the fact that it is time that is mostly affected by the relativistic change. So what I'm wondering is, how does the ladder physically get through the doorway with that being the case?
Now you're thinking. Now you're thinking.
Man, be quiet. Just let him answer. I'm so sick of you.
I gave you a compliment, you fucking
I don't
idiot.
want compliment. I want information.
But you don't listen to information.
I do. George is making a good point. He doesn't do all the flourishes like you guys do.
You called Boogly God, for God's sake. We are not invoking the protocols of Boogly Gog. I don't care what you say.
Thank you.
So let's hear the answer to the question. Dun, 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 dun,
Answer from who?
I mean, it's an open question to everybody, but I was asking George particularly because she seemed as knowledgeable as anyone else. So.
Is George even listening at the moment?
What's even the question, man?
The question is, when you have relativistic events, let's just say approaching the speed of light, you have two things occurring. You have light perception being impacted. It's called a light delay. Even though light travels at the same speed for everyone involved, there still is the perception of how much time it takes for the light to reach you is still altered by how much time is passing for you on the clock. So, in essence, it may seem in certain situations that light is taking longer to reach you, even though it's not. However, there's also the physical length contraction, and that's what I believe rocket scientists told me a month or 2 months ago that says, hey, no, that's actually the fact that time itself is mostly what's impacted by relativistic changes, whether it be gravitational forces or speed. So if length contraction is actually occurring and is due to time dilation, then the question for me is, how then does that length contraction allow an object to fit through the opening? Like how is that mechanism?
Anything can slow or speed time.
What question is that? How is that a question, though?
Ridiculous.
You know, George is a boy's name, right?
Look.
Let George answer the question.
George.
The silence says everything.
No, did anyone get the question though? Because I don't think that was the question.
Things in one question. Try asking one question next time. Don't ask the question.
Okay, how does length contraction allow for an object that's too big to fit through the orifice to go through the orifice? There we go.
Don't ask it.
That's a very good question.
Does that happen though?
That's to their theory. Yes, that happens.
Explicitly.
The three of you spoke at the same time.
Yes, it happens according to your theory. Yes, that happens.
George missed it. Already said it does not change sizes.
That's why I'm asking that question.
It doesn't.
It's a
Nate, you missed it. We killed
the light and the speed that you're moving.
Okay,
Then it doesn't fit.
Explaining what I'm saying.
Could you post a link or something? Or maybe Kosher, you could explain what he's asking.
I understood perfectly.
9 different things. Like light will multiple observers.
No. I listen. It's two things.
Okay, but please let Kosho explain it. Yo, Flat,
okay,
just let Kosho explain it, because you know Kosho can.
Well, he's asked 3 different things, so
no, I did not ask 3 different things.
You kind of did, Flat. You kind of
make
did.
sure that there is a distinction, and I focus on the second one.
But the thing that you said about the light, different observers, even though there would be light speed for everybody, they could potentially be seeing different wavelengths of the light.
No, not different wavelengths.
Yeah.
There can be a perceived time dilation, even though there is not.
Stop talking. And the other thing you said about time being the main effect of the space-time curvature. But what Rocket was probably explaining to you was how that causes gravitational attraction.
No, that wasn't.
Cause gravitational attraction.
No, that wasn't. Kosho, honestly, you gotta stop trying to get on my case too much. It's
okay. So
it's just too much.
So Flatten, the name.
I put the link up. So I mean, it's easy to just review that.
Okay, so Flatten, I looked at your link, and basically what that's called is Lorentz contractions. Just look that up. It's just
yes. And how does that work? He wants to know. That's what he wants to know. Is it actually shrinking? What is difficult?
It's not actually shrinking.
It's not actually shrinking. It's not really changing size. It's just your perception.
I got that part, guys. What I'm asking is, how does it therefore fit through the object?
Fit through what object? That part I don't understand. Are you saying, for example?
That's the part I don't understand too. That's what I'm trying to find out. That's been like this. The flat earther kept saying, "Well, how does it fit? How does the ladder fit through the door?" And so the question is, if that's the case, how does it fit through the door?
Exactly.
If that's the case.
But what is the scenario? We have a ladder that doesn't fit through the door, and as I move it at light speed in a certain direction, it shrinks and fits through the door.
I thought the link.
Who said that?
Right, I thought that the dilation would make the object expand in width and contract in length.
You can't stop. So just take a 2-minute timeout, dude. Just fucking stop talking over everybody.
So who said that was possible? Who said that's what happened?
It is what you observe. Like the ladder that's longer than a barn or something like that. And I forget exactly what George's scenario was, but I've seen a scenario where the ladder's longer than the barn, but because of the speeds that you're moving and the speed of light, it could appear that the ladder is completely enclosed by or the barn is completely enclosed by the ladder is completely enclosed in the barn, and the other way around. It could be perceived that the ladder is at both ends of the barn. It just depends on
a completely ridiculous scenario to begin with. What reality is this happening in?
It's the unnecessary antecedent.
Wait. Could you guys let Kosho finish? Damn.
Consequences of the finite speed of light and the speeds that you're moving through there. So the light of the ladder and the other end of the ladder from your frame are going to be coming at the speed of light.
Yeah.
But you're moving, I don't know, but is it a fraction or something close to the speed of light?
This is all a big red herring. I literally
so it'll contract in your direction, in your orientated direction. But what Flatten is saying seems different. It's like if you try to fit a key in a hole, and then if it moves to the speed of light, it starts fitting in the hole or something.
I was simply reciting what the flat earther was saying.
That happens.
And my question was, if that is true, what's the mechanism that allows it? I thought that when objects approach the speed of light, their width expands. I'm sorry, not their width expands. Their width remains the same, but the depth, parallel to the direction you're going, the depth shrinks, so that something that like the ladder would not reduce its sides to fit in the door, it would just reduce its length as it's going through the door, if that makes sense.
More imaginary shit.
In your frame,
just imaginary shit.
Stop talking, man. In your frame, nothing changes size at all. It's the frame that's relative to you, or the frame that you're moving relative to. But in your frame, like you're not changing size or anything.
So from the ladder's point of view, I'm going at the speed of light and I see the doorway coming towards me. The doorway would not expand its width. It would reduce its depth, and the depth is like 4 inches, 5 inches. Yeah, the width is 3 or 4 feet, right? It's going to remain 3 to 4 feet, but the depth is going to be reduced to, a centimeter. In which case the ladder still does not fit.
No, sizes are ever changing.
No, the ladder doesn't seem itself to fit at all.
I don't understand the scenario.
Well,
but it's just
for the ladder
that you guys are referring to.
For the ladder, the barn is
dependent
shorter.
on your frame of reference, right? If you standing still, or you have an inertial frame of reference, and something's moving away from you at the speed of light, it's going to seem to contract in that direction.
Parallel to the direction, right? Not perpendicular.
And if you want to word it like that, yes, because I do understand what you mean when you say parallel, moving to away or towards from you, yeah. But not perpendicular, no.
Right, but the flat earth was trying to make you think it was perpendicular.
No, but it's only for you and your frame of reference.
I got you.
Someone else wouldn't necessarily see what you see. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're watching this from afar and you see the ship go by. Yes, you will physically see the ship appear to be smaller as it gets faster. It appears to shrink in length. Okay. Now,
as it approaches the speed of light.
Right. So even though it is relative, it's there's still something happening. And we can't just say that it's the same size or it appears the same size. That's
from your perspective. Yeah, from your perspective, there's something happening. Not from everyone else. Not from the ladder's own perspective.
You're the one who's.
Let's say the perspective of the doorway then.
The doorway might be seeing something totally different.
Let's say the doorway could see the object headed towards you. I don't think there's ever a time that the object headed towards you at the speed of light. If you're the doorway, I don't think that the object will ever see you reduce your length.
Yes.
I'm sorry, not your length. Your the size. The size will remain the same.
What size?
George just said that if you're going to speed and the relatives to some other object, then whatever you see, you're going to see that thing shortening or the length contraction. It's going to see you that traveling at that speed and everything that you're traveling with do the exact same thing.
Okay, Coach, I may not understand it as clearly or as quickly as you'd like, but I don't think there's anything wrong with me trying to get clarity. Is there?
Did you understand what I said just now?
I don't know if we're on the same page because it sounds like you're trying to repeat what he said. But I don't think that addressed what I was saying.
You're acting like there's something else. I didn't say anything else, but the answer to the question you just asked.
Okay. So, George, I'm sorry, to the other person that was talking, do you agree then as the object is headed towards you, really if it was headed towards you dead on, you really wouldn't see anything change as far as what you see. The size wouldn't change except for it's getting larger as it gets closer to you, which is obvious, yeah?
Yeah, perspective-wise, sure.
Right. That's right. Perspective-wise, it's going to be the same. So, to the flat Earth argument, to Jeremy's argument earlier, is it correct to say that what he was describing is incorrect? Because the ladder would have to be headed towards you to go through the doorway, and the geometry of that prevents it from going through the doorway in that regard because the contraction is lateral. It's not
it's only in the direction.
Right, there we go. It's only in the